Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I will be looking at Laura Fabian's Caruso from her Laura with Love concert. And I'm looking forward to this. Again, I know this song through Josh Groban from a million years ago. And I'm very interested to see her version of this particular song. I know that she is part Italian in her heritage, and I know that it is something from at least my previous reaction to her singing Italian. This is something that she really holds dear, and that is something that I really appreciate about people is when they can hang on to their heritage and their history, and they utilize it in a way of making themselves proud and making everybody else proud of where they came from, and use that as a vehicle for expression in their art. And so, without any further ado, let's get started.
La canzone di Lucio Dalla è una delle più belle canzoni che è mai stata scritta, secondo me. E poi è una canzone che può essere cantata da un uomo o da una donna con la stessa espressione, con la stessa sincerità. And when you hear that, just that voice coming out of nowhere when he starts singing Qui dove il mare luccica e dove tira forte il vento su una vecchia terrazza, you just see Italy. It's all there. That's probably the most sensitive part of me because it relates to my mom and my grandma. Qui dove il mare luccica e dove tira forte il vento su una vecchia terrazza davanti al golfo di Sorrento. Un uomo abbraccia una ragazza dopo che aveva pianto, poi si schiarisce la voce e ricomincia il canto.
One thing I want to point out, and I think I pointed it out in another video, I believe it was Tango Live, is her ability to spit out a whole bunch of words perfectly clearly and on pitch at a low volume. All three of those things can happen independently. And if you can have them happen all at once, it's just an amazing showcase of talent, as well as skill, as well as practice, as well as experience. And this is something that, as a singer, as a person who loves singing, this is something I listen for. And this is something back in the day, 100 years ago, this is what I was graded on when I would sing solos, is how well I was able to articulate words and in phrases and make sure that nothing becomes all muddled so that nobody can understand what you're doing. She doesn't have that problem. She's very good at this, and again, it comes from training, it comes from experience, it comes from years of honing her craft, in addition to taking whatever talent she has, which is immense, and building upon it and honing it and making it into what some people have called the greatest voice in in female music history in some ways. Wholly underrated, but you know, she is probably arguably one of the best vocalists in the 20th century and 21st century. So with that, I'm going to let that go, and we're going to keep going with Crusoe.
Te voglio bene assai, ma tanto bene sai, è una catena ormai che scioglie il sangue di te bene sai.
And I'm going to stop it there again. She has a really good, and this is something that when I watch other reactors do other things with other artists, is they don't spend a lot of time talking about how well people sing softly and how well they build a line. A lot of performers, and I've been watching some So Hyang performances, and a lot of them really focus on that power. But what really drags me in for her is when she goes really soft and really light. That to me is the thing that I wish I could see more of from So Yang. But with Lara Fabian, it's again she her power. A lot of her power comes from her ability to sing softly and if affectively, like emotionally, at a low volume and be able to hit most of her registers. If you look back at her Je t'aime live where the audience takes over, she's still very she still has full control over her head voice at a really soft level even under those emotional circumstances. And that is what I really love watching her for is those moments where she builds from such softness and such smallness to give us that big stuff, because without the small, the big doesn't mean anything.
Le luci in mezzo al mare, le sole notti là in America, erano solo le lampade, la bianca scia di un'elica. Senti il dolore nella musica, si alzò dal piano forte, ma quando vide la luna uscire da una nuvola, gli sembrò più dolce anche la morte. Guardo negli occhi la ragazza, gli occhi verdi come il mare. Poi all'improvviso uscì una lacrima e lui credette di affogare. Te voglio bene assai, ma tanto bene sai, è una catena ormai che scioglie il sangue di te bene sai.
One quick comment I want to make is that in this section here, one of the things you notice is that she is singing to the audience and not at the audience. And she's bringing us in as she is also giving out her message. And that is just amazing because she's being extroverted to the audience to show them this stuff, but she's not beating them over the head with all that power and all that energy that other performers have a tendency to do.
La potenza della lirica, dove ogni dramma è un falso, che con un po' di trucco e con la mimica, sai, puoi anche diventare un
That was awesome.
altro. Così diventa tutto piccolo, anche le sole notti là in America. Ti volti e vedi la tua vita come la scia di un'elica. Te voglio bene assai, ma tanto bene sai, è una catena ormai che scioglie il sangue di te bene sai.
nice breath at the end. Nice breath at the end. There's a lot of greatness that goes on in this performance, and I'm going to try to find a spot there we go. Um, One of the things that I really enjoy about her, and like I said in the last comment, you can't get to the big without getting to the small, and without the small, the big doesn't mean anything. Because if I just come out and I start screaming at the top of my lungs, on pitch and in perfect, there's nowhere to go. There's nothing to come from, and there's nowhere to go to. And it's this that a lot of artists sometimes miss, is that they'll come out really hot, and unless the song requires it, it falls flat. And she knows how to build things up, and she knows how to bring things back. And that's one thing that a lot of the people that vocal coaches respond to today. And again, I'm not a vocal coach, but I watch other things. I love. This is how I got into the reaction thing, as I started watching vocal coaches respond to people. And um, what they're really drawn to are those people that have this great dynamic control, that can take a song from really small to make it really, really big again, and then bring it really small again as necessary, as dictated by the lyrics. Their ability to bring that together. And that's, again, I mean, Laura Fabian and Dimash are not the only vocal rhetoricians in the universe. That, they're out there. And how they use their vocal toolkits to bring this about is what a lot of these vocal coaches are drawn to. Now, a lot of vocal coaches love the pyrotechnics and the bigness of stuff, and I like that too. I mean, I'm all about power. I love watching people can use power to emphasize their message. But again, like I said, you can't you have to buy that power by showing us the weak. You have to move from vulnerable to strong, and you have to show me that, because otherwise there's no variety, there's no diversity, there's no movement, there's no growth. So the song sort of lies there. And unless it's required, where everybody's angry all the time or everybody is sad all the time, there has to be some sort of growth. There has to be some sort of movement, some intensity, some drama. And in this song, she showed us the softness, she showed us the loud, she showed us then at the end the softness. And again, that's what makes her a really great performer. And, I mean, if she had shown up on the scene 5 years plus or minus, we'd be talking about her instead of some other people. So here in the United States, at least, I know in Europe, she was relatively successful. And so, again, I'm going to leave it at that. Again, she is always on her game. She always has a way of bringing the song to her in order to bring it to you. And so she's fully invested into the song so that you become fully invested in her performance. And if you have any comments, please put them in the comment section. Let me know when I make mistakes. I don't have a problem with that. Just don't leave me. But with that, comment, subscribe, like, share. If you find something that other people need to know about, please, let other people know about it. I appreciate that. I appreciate all of you. You guys have helped make my channel move from 300 people 2 months ago to almost 1,500 now, and I really appreciate every one of you. So with that, I'm going to let you go and do a couple more reactions for today, because it's my day to do reactions. And I will see you when I see you. And as always, be safe.